Where can you go and meet hundreds of people just like you, strengthen existing relationships and forge new ones with vendors and distributors, and meet some of the biggest names in the industry, where you can go and see the newest tech and services that you need to make your IT business grow. And there'll be thousands of pounds worth of prizes up for grabs. Then what's more, you'll get that for £1. TechMax 2023 will be on the 23rd of June at Magna Adventure and Science Centre near Meadowhall in Sheffield. This event will be over 4 times larger than last year's event, and this year's event will incorporate a live tech awards, dedicated meeting rooms, demo and interactive areas, and up to 800 other techs just like you. Get registered now at tftmax.com. Where can you go and meet hundreds of people just like you, strengthen existing relationships and forge new ones with vendors and distributors, and meet some of the biggest names in the industry, where you can go and see the newest tech and services that you need to make your IT business grow. And there'll be thousands of pounds worth of prizes up for grabs. Then what's more, you'll get that for £1. TechMax 2023 will be on the 23rd of June at Magna Adventure and Science Centre near Meadowhall in Sheffield. This event will be over 4 times larger than last year's event, and this year's event will incorporate a live tech awards, dedicated meeting rooms, demo and interactive areas, and up to 800 other techs just like you. Get registered now at tftmax.com.
You're watching Tech Talk in affiliation with Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. London time, and we'll be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, Google, TuneIn, and many more. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, and your host, Philip Griffiths.
Well, hello, start again. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk. This is a live show where we help your IT business grow. Today's topic is importance of communication. My name's Phil Griffiths. This is
Jenny, and we're your hosts today.
Right, we've also got two guests on the show tonight. We've got Will and we've also got Ian. Cormac, unfortunately, is not able to make it. Apparently, he's having tea and crumpets with his dad. So you never know.
Posh.
Yeah, you never know. He might pop on a bit later, but there we go. I'm surprised it's tea and crumpets, to be honest. What if I thought it'd been something like mashed potatoes or something
He is
like
the
that?
king of Ireland, after all.
Chicken and potatoes. Yeah. There we go. Right, okay, guys, let us know if you can hear us. I can see a few of you saying evening, so I presume you can. Obviously, let us know where you're viewing from and how you're doing, and obviously we'll give you a shout out. I can see Richard Creedy's on there saying evening. We've got John as well, Merritt. Saying howdy, and we've got William as well saying evening all, and we've got Carl saying evening. So hi guys, thanks for tuning in.
Hello.
So again, let us know if you can hear us. Obviously, if your name for any reason pops up on the screen as Facebook user when you're typing, make sure you click the link I've put on the chat already. I'll pop it up on the screen in a few seconds, but basically you just type in or click on that link or write the link in and it lets your name be shown. So that's going on there. And prime example, there is a Facebook user there. So again, Facebook user, if you can click on obviously the link what I put in chat earlier, if you can't see it, it'll be on the bottom of the screen in just a few seconds. You'll just see it just down there. It'll say type in something like chat.restream.io or something along that line.
And that would be helpful, as we've had problems in the past with our technical side of things.
Yes.
Let us know if we're sounding clear or if we're sounding too quiet or too loud or whatever.
That's it. Right, so it looks like we are being heard. We've got Peter from ScanStation Computers on the south coast. What's the weather like down there, Peter? Is it a bit warmer down there? Is it a bit drier? Because we've had nothing but rain today. So we've also got William saying, yes, we can hear you, and Richard saying the same thing. Thank you, Richard, for sharing the link as well. There we go. And William saying the new microphones seem to be a bit more reliable and clear audio. So yeah, unfortunately, it's something we had to invest in. So, but there we go.
For a while.
Yeah, so. They worked a good while. Right, okay, let's go on to our guests now before we go any further. So, Will, if you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, what you do, and if you've got any news or stories or anything to talk about.
Hi, folks. My name is Will from Consumer Tech based in Dunfermline up in Scotland, and today we've enjoyed, I'd say, about 18 degrees all day, actually. From mid-afternoon. It's been a beautiful day today. It's more of a news point to say that it's nice to see people may know that I'm a huge Synchro MSP fan, and I always try and help people, or if anybody's needing any information about Synchro, I love the product. And it was nice to see good news for a change that Emily Glass, who's the Chief Executive Officer, has mentioned in the Channel Web News UK as being one of the top female, I was about to say search engine optimization, as one of the top females in tech industry, which is nice to see. Women that's up and coming in the tech industry. So I thought I'd share that with people to say that, all the women out there who's in the tech industry, go for it. Good. It's nice to see females in the tech industry and up and coming in the world of technology and things like that. So
Right, that sounds pretty good. Well, definitely a good topic for us to talk about probably in the
Yeah.
future again is women in tech. I know we've done it in the past, but
Yeah.
there's definitely advantages for women in tech and there's plenty of room for them. And it's an advantage for your business as well because you're surprised how many customers actually will only talk or would prefer to talk to a woman rather than a man, obviously, especially if they're a woman or whatnot. But yeah, definitely a good thing there. Right, let's move on to
Yeah.
Ian. So,
Definitely.
Ian, if you want to introduce yourself, let us know who you are, what you do, and go from there.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Ian. I own IPC Solutions in sunny Malden. Well, looking at that, it's a bit miserable at the moment, but yeah, the sun's trying to come out. Yeah, I sell and refurbish technology and sell laptops, desktops, and gaming PCs to all and sundry, and anything else AV and tech-wise. I just get a matter of everything in. Tip is kind of an old tip, really. I know that the Intel RST driver issue on Windows 11 installs and Windows 10 installs on 10th and 11th gen machines. When you always get the message where the drive doesn't show. What I have been noticing in my Lenovo's and Dells that I've been upgrading recently and refurbishing is that the BIOS defaults to RAID mode, and that seems to be the problem. As soon as I switch it to AHCI mode, I don't have to bother about the Intel drivers. It just picks the drive up straight away and off it goes. Whether it's a SATA NVMe or M.2 PCIe or a 2.5-inch drive, it just automatically detects it as soon as you change it from RAID to AHCI mode. That seems to be the problem. I don't know why the BIOSes on these new machines are defaulting to RAID, but that's not probably for every single machine, don't get me wrong. But that's what I'm finding. So that's my tip. Go into the BIOS, swap it all to AHCI, and you should detect it without having to download those pesky drivers.
Okay, definitely a good tip there. Yeah, I must notice I have seen a few come up with a RAID in the BIOS these days, and it's like, well, why have they done that when there's only one drive? But I don't know. There must be some technical thing what I'm not aware of. But no doubt someone like Peter, who's commenting now, will actually let us know why. And he's actually saying, let's have a look. Let's get what Peter's saying up on screen. Here we go. He's saying that a lot of them are set to Intel VMD mode, which requires the driver, probably an Optane hangover or something like that. Yeah, probably a good point there. Let me just quickly go through the rest of the chat. We've got hi all from Brolly IT in Ireland. That's Sean. Let us know, Sean, do you need a brolly today? Is it raining that bad over there in Ireland? Or
That was a dad joke if I ever heard
I know.
it.
We got Paul Middleton as well. So hi, Paul. How you doing? I hope you're all well. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of months or next month at TechMax if you're coming. If not, no doubt we'll be seeing you at some other events. We've also got Blue Bolt as well saying hi all. And Peter was saying it was a sunny mid-afternoon, but started raining this evening. So there we go. So right, next up is Jen. So Jen, if you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, what you do, and if you've got any tips or stories for us. You know the drill. Hopefully.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm mostly behind the scenes here. If you booked TechMax, well, then you talk to me on the telephone because I'm the one in accounts payable, receivable, and I deal with your monies and sorts. Some behind the scenes that I do is editing the videos from time to time. Not so much as now, but yeah, I do a little bit of that when I'm not doing TechMax. Other than that, I'm Bill's sidekick.
Yeah. So, like in most relationships, the woman deals with the money, even when it's
I
your
pay
own,
him.
it's hers.
He's my employee.
So there we go. And what tip story have you got for us?
Oh, I don't have a tip, but I do have a little story that I saw on BBC today. You can read the full article. I'm not going to go into it. But it's LinkedIn. LinkedIn cut 700 jobs and closes their China app. Oh, yeah. The social media network, which focuses on business professionals, will also phase out its local jobs app in China. This comes after mostly withdrawing from China in 2021, citing a challenging environment. There Uh, the remaining app called In Careers will be phased out by 9th of August. In Careers only covers the Chinese market. So interesting. You can read the full story though on the BBC. I'm not going to dive into it. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of, shall we say, Asian countries what don't get along with social media platforms, I think, to be honest with you, for certain reasons, which I'm not going to say because I don't want to get hacked.
We don't go into on this show. That's why I said you can read the story.
Exactly. So, and Richard Creedy, thanks for letting me know about the QR code. Hopefully, you're not going to see a QR code instead of my head now. But there we go. Right, so let's have a look then. So I'm presuming it's me now. So, well, if you don't know who I am by now, then you're never going to. But
You're so full of yourself.
but there we go. But well, I'm host the show every week. Hopefully. So, but there we go. So, but basics is I'm Phil from Tech for Tech. Used to run IT repair company, and obviously now help Jen run Tech for Techs. We obviously do all the events, the live shows, reviews, and so forth. Right. So, TFT news first of all. We're proud to announce that we have got another vendor or distributor or services joined up. We haven't got them on the website yet. We're just waiting for some confirmations from them. But it's Synaxon. If anyone knows Synaxon, they will actually be joining us at the show. You can also see on the screen now, if you can't, if you obviously haven't already, some of the other vendors which will be attending. There's quite a few on there.
If you don't see Synaxon, it's because I haven't got the artwork from them just yet. Synaxon, when you send me your artwork, I'll put your name up there.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously once they've sent the stuff, we've also had Very PC in the last week sign up. I think they just signed up just as we did the last show. We've got obviously the sponsors, Aerocool, Strong, CUDA, Pax8, and then we've got all the distributors, TechPoint Distribution, i3i, CMS, Spire, Target, Case King, Bugs and Bytes, we've got Replace Base, Service Plus, ALM Wholesaler, VIP, Terra, and then all the different vendors on there. I'm not going to read all them out, otherwise it's going to take all day, but you've got names like MSI, Cooler Master, Be Quiet, Norton, Seasonic, Lexar, Thrustmaster, TP-Link, and so forth, and there's even more.
And there's more waiting in the queue. There's a couple that are awaiting payment, and I've been in talks with 2 more potentially to sign up. So we're going to have a really good show. It's going to be awesome. There will be a big variety of different things, whether you're into gaming or building PCs or refurbished tech, antivirus, troubleshooting your PC, whatever. There's a little something for everyone there. I mean, everything that you can possibly think of. We've pretty much got it covered.
Yeah, so we've got quite a few things, hopefully. So if you're into phones, tablets, PCs, laptops, so forth, all there, even remote support and so forth. So let me turn that screen off there. So, right, back on the screen. Also, for anyone who hasn't obviously been keeping up to date, we did the finalist announcements last week for the Tech Awards. So they've all been obviously announced. So if you want to check out the Tech for Tech's website, so which is techfortechs.co.uk, you'll be able to see everyone who has been listed as finalists. I know there's 1 or 2 people upset because they weren't listed this year. Sorry, nothing to do with me. It's down to everyone voting for you. Obviously, the more you get involved with the Tech for Tech community, shall we say, the more chance that people are going to vote for you. Obviously, they're not going to vote for someone who they haven't heard speak to them for over a year. People forget very easily and so forth. So you've got to keep the content coming. And if you want to work on that with us, let us know. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for news for now. Before we bore you, we'll go on to the main topic. But before we do that, we've got to do this. So if you don't know who PAX 8 are, they are the sponsors for this year's awards. If you don't know anything about them, check out their website. It's pretty straightforward, pax8.com, and it'll tell you all about them. But basics is they do lots of cloud-based services and resell. Think of them as a bit like a traditional distributor, but instead of selling parts and obviously peripherals, they're selling stuff like software, cloud-based things and stuff like that. So that's the best place for you to go. So if you're wanting to have a look for something like that, feel free to check them out. So that's pax8.com. Right, okay, let's go on to the main topic. So the importance of communication. So, and to be honest with you, this topic can cover pretty much any industry in a way, to be honest with you. It's not just down to computer side of things. If you've got a grocery shop or, I don't know, you sell tacos or whatever it may be, it probably relate to you as well. It's come to my mind. I can't say I haven't had a taco in a long time. It just came to my mind. So, but yeah, so tacos or anything, to be honest with you, and it can go for not just the little guys on the high street. This can basically relate to your vendors and distributors as well.
I was actually thinking distribution. Mm-hmm. Really. A lot of times you forget, distribution side, how much this plays a key role in what you do. If you don't communicate with your customers, they're just going to find somebody else that will. I've seen prime examples this week booking TechMax, and I'm thinking, how on earth could I recommend these guys if they can't communicate with me on a telephone if they're coming to TechMax or not? I mean, think about that. They don't answer emails, they don't return my calls, a Skype message, nothing. I'm like, gosh, if you're like this with attending a big event, I wonder what you would do with a little person trying to order a keyboard from you or something. I've no time for that.
Yeah, we basically had a few handful of vendors, not any of the ones that signed up already or anything which are on the website, which are basically saying, yeah, we're coming, then obviously they don't pay and stuff, which is the usual thing for a lot of bigger companies. Unfortunately, we basically told them, right, either get your act together or you're not coming, simple as that. And the ones that have strung us along, we've just told them, you're not coming, because if you can't work with us, we're not going to let you work with obviously people or promote you to other people. So obviously, we're not just going to promote anyone. We want them to be able to work with, obviously, you guys. But yeah, definitely there. Anyway, let's go on to Will and Ian, see what they're going to say. And then obviously, let me put the chat back on as well.
I think just touching on what you were saying, Jenny and Phil, what a lot of people, I know these distributors and vendors and things that are busy as well, but what a lot of people don't see is that you guys are doing the hard work behind the scenes. And if you're taking the time to contact people, you should at least acknowledge it. And that leads on to our customers as well. And not just customers or vendors or distributors, even your staff. I've managed to take on a member of staff to help do my office work and admin things. And we had a little breakdown in communication, which as a result caused her to get a little bit upset. And it was just not thinking really about the conversation I needed to have at the time. And it was over something that was misinterpreted the wrong way. So anyway, we sorted it out. So, it's important that you communicate with everybody that you work with and staff, vendors, distributors, and just acknowledge people's efforts as well and feelings, especially due to lockdown. Everybody's mental health is just crazy sometimes, and it can be anything, the slightest little thing that's said the wrong way or miscommunication. You need to cover it. Let's talk about it and sort it out. I think that's my rule of thumb nowadays is talk about it. Whether it be face to face or telephone, just let's communicate and talk about it. And that's one of the reasons why I come onto the show tonight. It's a good topic.
One of my favorite sayings comes from the movie, I do believe it was Cool Hand Luke. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that is absolutely one of the most well said things. We have a failure to communicate.
And sometimes all you need is that just a quick reply. It only takes 2 seconds.
Yeah,
On it, I'll get back to you. It's
Yeah,
when you don't
yeah.
hear anything, it's like, well, have they seen it?
Or
And then you're
I'm
having to
in
chase them
transit
up.
right now. I'll reply to you when I get to the hotel.
yeah.
Or
Just
whatever.
just an
Something like
acknowledgement. Yeah,
you can tell Siri to do these messages. If you're in transit, you can, hey Siri, send text message, blah, blah, blah. I know how that works. I've used
yeah,
it. Uh, eh, so,
No, I do that quite often with them. If I get some calls coming in, I know with the customer or whatever, I'll just send them a message just saying I'm on site on a job at the moment, or in transit. Obviously, do it hands free and so forth
Yeah.
if you're able to. And if you're not able to do it hands free, then pull over and do it. But
yeah,
send a text message and just say to them, or an email, whatever. I'm doing whatever. I'll get back to you in a bit. Obviously, make sure you do get back in touch with the person.
yeah.
So stick it on your
Nothing worse
calendar
than
or
to say
whatever.
that you're going to get back and you don't.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I've been at the end of that as well, where you're just flat out and you forget. It slips your mind. So I'm now into a habit of putting things into my diary.
Yeah.
Or the good thing with I'm Android-based telephone is that you can flick up, send a text message, and then that reminds you in about an hour's time. Remember to get back to so and so. So I've started using that a bit more. AI at its
Yeah.
best, I suppose. But it's we're only human. We all make mistakes and things like that. But yeah, have the
We're
decency to
human.
acknowledge things. Yeah,
We're human and we're going to
yeah,
forget.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how you recover from forgetting
yeah,
that
absolutely.
And especially as you get older, you tend to forget more.
That's true.
so,
That's
but
true.
that's not happened to me yet. But
No, not yet. Not a young
yeah.
handsome chap like yourself, though.
Right. I don't know. Right. Okay, Ian. Over to you. So, have you got anything you want to add to the conversation?
Yeah, I echo what you say actually about the getting back to people. But I do also see it from a flip side that sometimes if you're out and about, especially where I work, sometimes if you're out in the Dengie or just out north of Malden, you've got no signal. Luckily, I've got voicemail, which does say I will get back, and generally I get back within 24 hours, if not sooner. And I think that's key. As long as your customers know. But I think, like Will made a really good point. The older I'm getting, the more forgetful I'm getting. Not on purpose. I just seem to be doing 50 things at once.
Yeah,
So I use my calendar on Outlook an awful lot more because everything syncs together. It just pings up on my phone and says, "Oi, phone them up." So it's a good reminder, and especially for appointments. I mean, I don't generally ever forget appointments. If I've arranged to go on, like tomorrow will be my visit day, or one evening, I know I never forget it for some reason, but sometimes you will with communication. But I think from what you said about distribution, I think that's the one, because there's so much there's so much competitivity with regards to all of our distributors. And I mentioned it back with in the last show I was on, I think, about the account managers and how on point they are, etc., etc. I think you can send some emails, and I don't expect a response within 5 minutes. They're very, very busy people. But if I don't hear back within sort of 4 or 5 hours, then and another distributors come back to me, then even if I might want the product, I'll go and buy the product from them because I need it. And sometimes it can be that, and then you'll hear back from the next day or two. Oh, really sorry, which is fine. I don't mind that. But if you can't deal with the issue, just say I can't deal with it, but I'm on it, and I'll get your price or whatever it is. So I think the communication is key, and I think it's I've got an RMA story that I could share with you all, which I'll probably do later on, which is quite long-winded, but it involves quite a lot of money, and it's the communication side of it is just paramount. And it's got to the point where I was going to take it to a small claims court. It's like that serious. It's not. Yes, it's a lot of money, but it's not going to break my bank. But it's the principle.
It's the
Principle, yeah.
principle. It is the
That's the most,
principle.
and that's the thing.
Yeah, and it's money out of your pocket in the end, one way or another, no matter what the amount is. If it's a couple £100 or several thousand, it could be anything from a payment for your mortgage or rent or whatever for a month, or it could be obviously the amount you'd spend going on holiday for a couple of
Yeah.
weeks or whatever. Not that any of us get
That
chance to go
kind
on
of
holiday,
reminds
but
me of just last month. I nicked Bill's Arctic cooler that he had on the side, and he said, "You can have it if you replace it, with a like for like for me." I said, "Fair enough," because I needed it that day to get my machine up and running. And I went out and I looked for one, and the first one got delivered damaged from someone. So I said, "Well, I won't buy from them again." And I sourced it, and I won't drop names because I don't believe in name and shame. And this was going to be to pre-order, and they were supposed to keep me up to date. When it came into stock, it was late being in stock and so forth. Well, I had to do all the chasing up on that, and it didn't come into stock when they said it was going to, and it didn't get delivered when they said it was going to. So finally, I went ahead and I'd been procrastinating about how much time it was going to take to open up an account with another supplier that I've been meaning to use also, and they know who they are. And it only took, can I set up an account, talking to someone there, and bingo, snap, I was able to log in. It was that simple.
yeah.
And I ordered the cooler from them, and I canceled from the other guy. I got it within a working day. The next working day, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
No messing around, no nothing. Now, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
No, if I'm pretty sure if it was going to be late, these guys would have rung me up and said, "Look, this is running late. Do you still need it? Blah, blah, blah." They would have done something. The other guys didn't even update me. I had to call them every time.
Mm-hmm.
So that is important. Keep your customers up to date. If something's running late, own it. Say, "Look, it's still in the channel. I was supposed to get it. Something happened." Call them. Let them know. Don't leave them hanging. And when they have to call you, it's too late already.
Yeah.
It is too late already when they have to start chasing you up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just as I'm going to mention who it actually was, where we actually got it from, because people will put two and two together because they know who the main distributor are, probably for the brand.
Yeah.
But Spire was the ones.
Yeah,
actually
Spire
managed to
handled
sort
it
you
in
out.
the end.
And
And
no
they were
offense.
absolutely brilliant
Yeah.
on handling
And
it.
again, no offense to any other distributors, but Spire are the only ones that we know of what actually distribute directly that product. So it wasn't anything else. We needed that specific product. So, but yeah, let's go on to the chat anyway. So Ken saying Siri doesn't understand me more. Is slight. Don't worry about it. I get Siri. We've got like to go into the complex where our business is. There's like a gate on it. What we basically have to call a number, and it opens the gate for us so we can drive in. So it helps stop obviously people breaking in and stuff like that. And basically, I've got it set up on my phone as like open work gate. And the amount of times it just calls some
And I bet
random
you the
customer.
work gate is opening right
It
now.
probably is actually. It just rings a random customer, and I'll be like, "No, don't call whoever it is," and it's like, and that customer sounds nothing like the name Workgate, but just completely it calls them for whatever reason it is. It's a weird one, but there we go. But right, let's just have a look what William's saying. Let's have a look. It says, get yourself a smart device with voice assistance, get it to set your calendar appointments and integrate that into your Outlook, and it will help you remember appointments. It's been a very good investment for us. We've also tied our appointment system into Google, to our calendars, send clients appointments, emails, and so forth. So
Still uses Google.
definitely. Definitely a good idea. I've got most of my stuff all tied up. It's just a bit difficult because I've got two sort of companies we're running it in one. Thing,
And I am a diary woman. Everything is in a diary on my desk, and I have it scribbled in what I need to do in my secret code writing that Phil can't read, and it's good because it's none of his business anyway. So I'm an old-fashioned girl. I believe in my diary, and then I've got a calendar as well for other things that, I need to keep pinned and everything. But my day-to-day workflow is written down in that diary over there. I've got 2 or 3 diaries laying about of years of what I did and what, and that's how
See,
I work.
I- I'm not the best at writing things down because sometimes I can't even read my own handwriting. But William, you raises a good point. There's so many platforms here nowadays that are there to help, whether it be Google, Microsoft, AI. It's all there to help. So there's really no excuse for
Yeah,
for acknowledging someone's email or acknowledging a phone call, unless it's human error. These
yeah,
things, garbage in, garbage out sort of thing. It's only you can only put in what you'll get out, etc., or you'll get out what you put in. So there's really no excuse from your point of view, Jenny, what you were saying about attendees for
yeah.
Tech Macro things. But
My
it's
sticky
also
notes have sticky notes. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, sticky notes all over the screen.
yeah,
Um, just
What
start
device
getting
is it that Will uses though? Because I've got Alexa, and I must admit I don't know whether that integrates with Outlook.
yeah, it
I've
does.
never really gone into it. Does it?
Yeah, you could integrate your diaries, your calendar with Alexa, and I'm saying it just now. She's popping up, and she will remind you of your appointments coming up, and you can put it in the car
Oh,
on your phone and everything like that. So yeah, invest some time and a little bit of money, but invest some time into setting things up, and it can work great for you. It's
Yeah.
the problem I've got is remembering to put it into the diary. So that's why my friend's helping me out do things now, so it's much better. It's worth. I see a huge benefit already, and she's only been working with me about a week, but just organising me is helping me greatly, and it's just down to communication as well. She's learning how I'm working, I'm learning how she's working. We're communicating with each other, and even at my other job, and will know this as well. At our jobs elsewhere, I manage a team, and communication is key with them. Because if you don't communicate with your team, then it can go, it just goes haywire. And if there's not clear communication for some people, and everybody works differently. Everybody has a different mindset. Everybody works differently.
yeah.
Some people need instructions, and communicating those instructions to people,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
there's some just don't need it. But that's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just the way people are. And
And,
yeah,
you were talking about instructions. Sometimes the instructions given will affect the outcome of the project at
yeah,
hand. Just take this scenario. Someone was trying to tell me how to do something in a video game that I play. Now, in their mindset, they had done their dead level best to tell me how to do this. And they actually had done a good job of doing it because someone else learned how to do it. It's just it wasn't clicking here.
mhm,
Now, another guy showed me how to do the exact same operation, and I got it. So it's different people learn things differently or soak it in differently. So you have to be prepared for those scenarios
yeah,
where, right, maybe I didn't explain myself clearly, and don't blame the person for the outcome, but be prepared to find a way that you can get to a common plateau, and everything gels and understanding and everything. So sometimes it's the way that we present the information
yeah.
and the outcome.
Yeah, and the different people understand different things. I always remember when I was a kid, and I'll probably get laughed at for this one. But my dad was on obviously his at the time BBC Micro, and he was showing me how to. I can't remember if it was a program. It was more than likely a game. It was that age. I was probably trying to load up. I don't know what it would have been, Syndicate or something daft like that or whatever. And first time I've been on BBC Micro and whatnot, and what was it, Amiga? It might have been an Amiga, so Ben might like this one actually thinking about it. So it was the operating system in the Amiga. Yeah, it was the Amiga. And basically told me, I was only kid at the time. It's like first time using an operating system, and you tell me, all right, you got to make sure you close all the windows before you start it. And I was like, well, why have you got to go around the house and close all the windows? And it's sort of, it's
I knew that was coming.
what you just don't understand, and not everyone understands those
That's
terms.
cute.
So sometimes you have to basically make sure you're wording things so people understand. And again, I had a similar one earlier today. Someone was asking us to send a PI over to them, and I was like, "What's a
I
damn
just
PI?"
sat there
I was
and
like,
just stared at it.
the only thing I can think of is a private investigator.
I mean,
and
I
was
had
like,
heard of PO, which is purchase order. I learned that one through Laura at CMS.
"Oh yeah, I know that one."
But I was like, a PI? Is it purchase invoice, maybe?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out exactly what PI stood for. Yeah.
So I just rang him up and said, right, here's how we do it.
Exactly. So it's just one of those things. There's different places, different organisations, and even different people, like in marketing, use different words and letters to describe different things. And you'll do a Google for it and say, what is a PI in marketing? And you end up with about 50 different results.
Yeah.
And it's like...
So if anybody wants to be brave enough to tell me what a PI is, put it on the chat. I would love to know.
I'm guessing it's a purchase invoice from...
It sounds like something that I'd probably eat, a pie. So, yeah.
Exactly.
I may ask him when I talk to him.
Obviously, that also goes to your customers as well. So if you're talking to your customers and so forth, you need to make sure you're not...
Purchase invoice. Yay!
Yeah. There you go.
I got it.
All professional indemnity.
Yeah, all professional indemnity.
Yeah.
So depends on the context.
Well, I like purchase invoice. I can actually pronounce that. Pro
Pro
forma invoice. Okay, all right.
Okay,
yeah, I get
so
that.
there you go. So you got obviously, even within two answers there, you've got basically three potential wording differences.
All of which
so
mean the same thing. So
similar.
Same when you're chatting with someone on Messenger, WhatsApp, whatever. People, if you don't explain it properly or in the right way, they could take it so many different ways.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's difficult to understand. In fact, it's very difficult to understand the attitude of how someone is typing. You don't know what way to take it. And yeah, I've had that before as well with people. And you think you're coming across strange or whatever. And all these TLEs, you get your 3-letter acronyms. They're just, it's crazy times.
Trying to make things simple for people.
I answered way back a long time when the earth was cooling, when I had a little shop on eBay. I answered someone's question, and they accused me of being curt. Well, all I did was answer it, one-line sentence, yes, it is compatible, or something like that.
Yeah.
And they accused me of being curt. Well, to me, I was answering the question and just not giving flowery backgrounds of dear so-and-so, I hope you're feeling well, how's your wife and kids? You know, I was just doing let's get to it, let's get it over with.
Close question, reply.
Yeah. And they thought it was very curt. They accused me of being curt.
The best thing was the question they asked you was just, does it work with?
Yeah.
Is it compatible with this? Yes, it is compatible.
It's not as if you've done a whole life story yourself, but...
you have to watch what you say. And Phil is always, I'm one of these people that when I write the email, I like to just go ahead, dive into what I want to talk about, and be done. And Phil gets on me all the time. He says, you've got to say, hello there, hope you're keeping well, blah, 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 and then lead into it. And I'm like, oh, come on. I just want business. I was always taught business letters, strictly business. Friendly letter talks about hope you're keeping well, how's the wife and kids, and how's Aunt Matilda, and things like that. And business is, dear gentlemen and ladies, can we blah, 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 blah.
You can find that different countries, it can translate differently. So we've got a lot of customers what we deal with in the States, and as Jen said, they're a lot more direct, out with the pleasantries, where over here you have to be nice and whatever, otherwise you're going to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah, he said it comes across as rude over here, and I'm like, well,
so,
it's funny you say that, Jen, because a lady I work with at work, she sends an email and she'll say, Ian, attached is the action plan. That's it. An action plan is just attached. There's no pleasantries. It's just Ian. There's no hi Ian, or it's just Ian, or whoever she sends
I
to.
will say hello,
Job,
you know.
bomb, and off. No waffle. I like that, direct. But some people go, oh, no, you have to be, oh, how are you? And it's like,
I know what you mean. It's I get a lot of that, and it's like, how much do you tell them about your life story, sort of thing, when you're replying to someone you've never ever met.
I do put a hello though, or a good morning if I'm really in a good mood. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah.
That's not very often that someone gets good morning. It's mostly hi, so and so, and attached is the PDF about TechMax, if that, blah blah blah. And
Well, don't get me wrong. Obviously, we like to talk to people and so forth.
really
But some
do.
people we've never met before asking us how we're doing. How was your weekend? I've never spoke to you in my life.
I don't know you.
Yeah, exactly. But
Would you say you've noticed? Would you say you've noticed a difference in the generations of people? You know,
Yeah.
whether you're older people. I'm sort of in the middle. So the way my grandparents would like pleasantries with people, how are you, and things like that, and then nowadays or vice versa, it's just straight to the point with people. You know,
Yeah.
it's just it's how society's developing and the communication. For instance, pen and paper. You know, when's the last time you received a letter that was written by pen and paper, sort of thing? Where it's always emails now and typed up, which is just the way society's changing.
yeah.
Even the
But
cards I send out, I send them through
yeah,
Boomkit, so I don't even handwrite a card anymore.
yeah, I'm pretty much the
Think
same as
about
well.
that. I mean,
Convenience.
yeah.
Well, you can be the same on a lot of things. It's like with technology. It's like I even say thank you to Siri when she's done something
Oh,
for
I
me
do.
because I think when they take over the world, at least I'm on good terms with them.
Now, my
Right.
Siri,
if she understands you.
my Siri is a guy, and I tell him please and thank you and stuff like that, and he and I have a really good relationship. So if ever they take over the world, he can
God,
not say
I'm
anything
doomed.
bad about me.
Things I call Alexa. Cool, you want one over here?
Yeah, I'm a little bit like that as well, Ian. So
Yeah, of course you do, Richard. I mean, it's just Alexa's part of the family, you know. So you say please and thank you.
Always listening, though. She's always listening.
Oh
always
yeah,
listening. Yeah.
she's all around.
They're all
around.
listening. So
My Siri's in my bag, listening to everything.
they're going to use your communication against you.
Well,
They certainly
what
are.
some of the people are out there believe is that the
The conspiracy
theories of
theorists.
the world
Yeah.
are going to form an alliance and conquer the world. And
No,
you
I won't be
believe
here
the
involved.
stories I've
No.
heard about that.
Oh
They
wow.
can get on with it as long as they communicate with each other and let us know what's happening. It's fine.
That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
That's it.
That's it. Right. Okay. Let's move on a little bit. So first of all, chat. Is there anything you guys want to talk about regarding communication? Have you got any tips how to talk to your customers? How to respond to your customers? Anything along that lines? Let's talk about change the topic up a little bit. Let's have a look. How do you manage your customers' expectations? So how do you? That's a good one, I think, to be honest. So, how would you actually address a customer if they came in and had a problem, let's just say in your store, or give you a call? Would you be honest to them and be direct to the point that there's a good chance, or would you listen to them and take the sob story about, oh, I'm going to lose the pictures from great grand Nora or whatever her name was, and so forth, and you're going to turn around and say, oh yeah, we should be able to help? Or do you just turn around and say, look, there's a good chance you've lost it, but we're going to do our best, and this is how we're going about it? So
Actually, the way that I did that, I would approach that is I listened to them tell me about Aunt Nora and everything, and the whole time I'm thinking, well, if she was such a important part of your life, why didn't you have her backed up? You know, so I have that in the back of my mind, and I will look them straight in the eyes and say, you know, there is a very real chance that Aunt Nora is just not going to be part of it anymore. But there is a very 100% real chance that I'm going to do my best that that doesn't happen. And after I do my best, then, you know, things happen and hindsight's 2020, you know, but I will do my very best for you. I believe in being upfront and straight to the point and
Yeah.
no flowering it and sugarcoating it and everything. Tell them straight up front that there's a very good chance that all is lost, but you will do your dead level best to
Yeah.
make it not be so. And after you've done your best, that's all you can do.
I've learned the hard way from that when I first started. You know, didn't want to lose the customer, wanted to try and get the data, promised the earth basically, and you know now it's give them both sides it. You know, 50% chance we'll get it, 50%
Mm.
this is going to happen. Just to be honest now, I have learned the
Yeah.
hard way, but it's cost me a few £100 learning the hard way, way back in the years. But that's how you learn things. But yeah, I think it's best just to just give them that picture rather than trying to colour it up. You know, just give them
Yeah.
it as black and white. Yeah, I agree
I,
with you
I
there.
appreciate honesty. Yeah, I'd rather
That's
someone
policy.
give me the ugly truth than a
Mm.
pretty lie.
Yeah,
And after I can't find out what data is on there, I will tell them, now look, all is not lost yet. Because there are people out there, and I won't name drop, that specialize in this kind of thing. And you can send it to them. And it won't be a small fee, but if it's important to you, send it to these people, and there's a very good chance that you might get your data. No promises, but there's a very good chance because they have tools that I do not. And whether they take me up and go to these people, well, then that's up to them.
I agree. Honesty is best policy. But
Yeah.
what I'm noticing recently, actually, with regards to that, if I say I'll have a look at it, if I can recover it by software means, then I will. However, it sounds to me like it's a dead drive. If
Yeah.
that's the case, I have professional outfits that I can send it to, but the charges will be a lot more than my 80 quid or whatever it is. And they go, how
Yeah.
much would it cost then? Because they're really, really precious to me. Blah, blah. And I say, between 2 to 500 quid, depends
Yeah.
what they need to do. What? Oh, no, it's all right. Don't bother then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
suddenly Aunt Nora is not as precious as she
Yeah,
was.
she's
She's
not as
not worth
important as she
200
was.
quid.
Yeah, well, she's dead now. Don't worry about it. So
I have her in my memories.
yeah, she was only worth 50 quid. So
well, it's like last week I had a drive-in where the lady was doing her final assessments for university. So I contacted the data specialist I use, sent everything down, got a price back, told her, she said it's okay, I just redone it. So
Yeah, I
in
exactly.
communication, they talk about communication there. She didn't tell me. I communicated with her all the time. You know, it's gone down. They've received it. I should hear later back today on an outcome if they can retrieve the data. They did manage to retrieve the data. Then she turned around and said, "It's okay, I got it." So we wasted all that time in sending it and evaluating it. And she said, "It's okay. I just redone it." I thought
John
that's
Merritt has it right.
crazy.
Under promise and over deliver.
Yeah, it's under promise over deliver or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, I've mentioned that one quite a few times. It's definitely one thing I learned from Star Trek. That one from Scotty, as I've said many times before. As Scotty always used to say, it's like going to take 5 days to do it. When it actually only took him 5 hours. He always basically made
Yeah.
it sound like it was going to take longer to do. And when he did it in half the time
You
or
were
a
the
tenth of the
hero.
time, he was the hero of the day and is a miracle worker. Even though he knew it was going to take that amount of time in
Yeah.
the first place. So
In the shop when they used to bring in virused up laptops and everything, and things wouldn't even boot or turn on or something, I'd be like, right, leave it with me. And I usually did a 3-day turnaround before I reported back to you, you know, because I'd have things on the bench before you, etc. And then if I got it up and running within the hour, well then, hey, suddenly Mrs. Chips was the hero and all is well. So I didn't overpromise anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, just going to what Carl's saying, basically, he uses a bulk SMS to send messages to customers, and if there is arranging repairs or doing anything like that, when he says tomorrow, he then puts the brackets, like in brackets, the date or the day or something like that, so people actually know, because obviously if you send someone an email or text, they might not actually get it till the following day or whatever, so tomorrow they might not look at the time you've sent it or whatever, they've received it now, so they think you mean tomorrow, not today, and so forth. So definitely. So always spell things out as clear as possible when you're doing stuff like that with times and stuff. The amount of times I'll say to people, "Oh yeah, I'll come round and see you at 3 o'clock," and I'll say, "What, 3 in the morning?" No, in the afternoon. It's like I don't know why you'd think I'd come out at 3 o'clock in the morning, but sometimes
A
we
lot of the
have to spell
elderly
it out.
customers, they do think though that what 3 means 3 a.m. And I'm guessing they're going on the 24-hour clock.
Yeah, a lot of them will think in military style.
You
Probably.
know, that's the way my uncle did things, was by the 24-hour clock, because he was in the army for so many years. If you said 300 was 3 o'clock in the morning. And he referred to 3 o'clock in the afternoon as 1500 hours.
Yeah.
Even in his 70s and 80s, he was using that 24-hour clock. So it could be a generation thing.
I think it depends on sometimes how people work. If I'm doing a business response, I'll always use 24-hour clock. But if I'm talking to like a residential customer, I'll just say like, 3 p.m. or whatever it is. Use a 12-hour clock instead. But again, it depends on the customer and so forth. But everyone's different. So right, let's quickly move on. So what time are we on? Oh, is that time already? Right. Let's go on to an interesting one. What's always a big thing: dealing with difficult customers. So, how do you deal with, let's say, difficult customers? Putting it politely, when let's just say they have a problem. Let's just say they come in and you didn't do what they think you were supposed to have done, or they didn't understand you, or whatever. How would you respond to them?
I think, who we going first, myself?
If you want, Will. I was waiting for someone to jump in there.
As I've found out over time as well, I think as technicians ourselves, is to document things. You know, have things documented, take pictures, whatever, because you've got to back yourself up. And just if I had an angry customer, this is a typical contact centre questionnaire. You know, when you work in a contact centre, how would you deal with the irate customer? I've always said, and it's always worked with me, is let them get it off their chest. You know, let them say what they want to say, get it off their chest, and then look at a solution for the problem. Because the old cheesy saying, where there's a problem, there's always a solution. You know, we'll find a way to fix things, and that's it. You know, it's as simple, and that's what I say to people. It is as simple as that. Where there's a problem, we'll find a solution to help fix it. And apologise, obviously. Communicate with them. You know, life gets in the way sometimes, and we're only human. So some people do get irate when they phone up or face to face. What I don't like is the keyboard warriors. You know, they'll give it to you over the chat and things like that, and then when you go and see them face to face, they're, "Oh, come on, Billy. Sorry, how you doing? Would you like a cup of tea?" And you know, they're completely different. I really can't be annoyed with that. You know, so that's how I would deal with it. Yeah.
Well, I had a woman come in, and after she swore in my face a little bit and had a meltdown in my store in the middle of it and blah, 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 and I was the worst person in the world, I waited for her to get done. And I said, right, here is what I found on your computer. Here's how I fixed it and dealt with it. Here's what I found on your computer. I was not able to fix it because I can't clean, I can't go into your laptop. She'd spilt something on it. I can't clean up wine and repair it from here. It's toast. This is not my fault. You know, it is what it is. You're going to have to get insurance to get on it. I said, I was able to do some data recovery for you, so your pictures and files and things like that are safe, and on this memory stick that I have in my hand. But the reality is you're going to have to buy a new laptop if you want to read the stick or use someone else's. And she sat there and she had this face, going, and she says, well, I guess at least you got the pictures. And I was like, yes, ma'am, I did. And I said, if for what it's worth, there it is, and this is the price for it. Well, she got kind of angry that there was a cost for this the device. Well, I'm not going to give away the memory stick, I'm just not. I had to pay for it too. And she says, I think it should be covered in the service. I said, no. I said, that's your diagnostics. And if I have a part, I've already discussed with you, if I had to buy parts, that would be on top. And you said you wanted your data. I can't just put it in the air and hang it there for you. It's got to go somewhere. And in the end, she paid. I kind of did my Jeremy Clarkson grin when she left, but I dealt with it. And you will get those. Sometimes you just can't please them. You're going to get those you can't please if you had a rod that says, I'm going to please you. You're going to get those people, and it's all in how you speak to them.
Yeah, definitely some good points there. I think the listening is definitely what Will said is the biggest thing. You just let them talk, let them spill it out, even if you know that they're completely wrong about what they're saying, just let them get it out of that, and then basically put yourself in their shoes, empathize with them a little bit, and say, yeah, I understand that you've got to buy a new whatever, and it's not probably the right time, but these are your options and so forth, and even sometimes let them go away and chill out for a little bit and come back later or whatever is sometimes a good idea. You've got to defuse it. There's no point turning around and start shouting at them and talking to them louder, because they're just going to get even more, excuse the language, pissed off, and then get even more aggressive to you, and then basically then you started World War III sort of thing. So yeah, listening, and again, this one's good for relationships, and I think we're all guilty of not doing it, but it works for relationships as well if you listen to each other's and so forth. So not just in not just in business or obviously dealing with customers in personal life. It is listening sometimes. That's one of the greatest things you can do, and let the other person actually say what they feel and what they want. Right, so what time are we on? We've got about a minute to go, so let's have a quick one.
Wrap it up and final thoughts?
Quick one. Future of communication and tech. Do you guys see anything happening in the future which could make communication better, or anything else you'd like to say for final thoughts? I'm going to go to Ian first this time.
So I was going to say AI, but I don't necessarily agree with AI in all hardness. I think it's still going to be people talking to people, because I think at the end of the day, people don't want to talk to fake voices, and they want to speak to someone. And I think, you can leave messages, etc. But no, speaking mano a mano is the way forward. And I think, and your point before is just, listening. Let someone vent, and then just, come up with a solution is the best thing. And if it's something you've done, say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and that's going to fix your problem. And because I've done that, there's no charge. They go, oh, lovely. Off they go.
No, that sounds...
I think sometimes we in the tech industry can come across as uncaring, if you must say. But what it is, we sometimes don't have the best people skills. We know amongst our kind, and after that, it's like you've been put into a salad bowl and been mixed up with people that you just can't identify with. They don't know what a processor is, or a water cooler, or what AIO means. You just can't relate to them, and you're just like, oh my God, you just can't relate, and it does not compute.
You have to
So
talk to them as simple
I
people
think that's
sometimes.
where AI has a place, is you can tell AI, right, this is what I want to say to somebody. How should I say it? And then it cleverly writes that email out.
Yeah.
And you read it back and you go, it's not quite. Can you do it again? And then it writes it again. And you're like, that's the ticket. And you send the email, and then all of a sudden, someone's booking for TechMax. So,
Using it as guidance, I think
yeah,
AI.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
I think,
it's there in
um,
addition to help you because it can't understand emotion, and I don't think
yeah.
it ever will.
Yeah.
No,
But yeah, so yeah,
nor what other people read in between the lines either.
exactly.
Because
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
say something at work, and people send me emails, and I'm thinking, what are you on? And then I suddenly think from their side, and I think, oh, I know what they're trying to do, and then
yeah,
I sort of respond in the way I should respond,
accordingly.
and
Yeah,
they go, oh yeah, sorry, that's what I meant, yeah, and I go, I thought you did.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to depend on generations as well. I think,
Mm.
especially with AI, I think a lot of younger generations, sorry to stereotype if there are any younger generations listening, but they don't seem to have as good people skills. They used to play with technology. I
I
think
don't have people
they
skills.
have issues dealing with a lot of people in real life and so forth. And computer
So do I.
technicians, I've worked with a few over the years, and some of them just do not like talking to people. They can repair a computer, they know how to do it, but when someone's involved, especially if it's something like a young lad or something, sometimes they can be scared talking to her because a girl's come in the store or something. It's like, well, what do I say
yeah,
to her? It's the same thing you'd say if it was a bloke, but don't call her a bloke.
Yeah, yeah.
It's basically exactly the
Well,
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
well, the young lads actually that came in the store, you couldn't have asked for a better group of kids that came in the store. And I just got in there and got down on their level, the younger ones, and you like this case, why do you like it? What do you think is so special about it? And just went from there, and then they would talk about how they want to build a computer and so forth, and they grew up around me. And there was a girl that came in, and she wanted Phil to let her build her computer in the store. And I looked at him and said, "Oh, no, 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 that's just not
while she was
happening."
watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, this is not happening, Phil. I said, you can get them out of here right now. I said, no. And he says, right, this can be done, but not in the store. He says, and it will cost extra. In the end, she did not watch him, did not pay him any attention, and he had to build it on site.
Yeah. So it was mainly the dad wanted the daughter to know how a computer's built, and they end up going round, and she ends up watching TV while I end up having to build a computer on the damn kitchen table. Well, you paid me extra for it. I made sure I charged them plenty for it as well. But
And she wouldn't
yeah,
talk to me. She would not talk to me one bit. She thought I was just pig ignorant. I mean, basically, she just really had it in for me. And I guess it was because I wouldn't let her have her way in the store. But, I'm sorry. That's just not happening.
our store was a bit crowded anyway, having someone
Yeah.
around there. Plus, with all the stuff what we had in there, insurance-wise and so forth, and data protection and stuff, it wouldn't
I
have been
can
a good
just
idea.
see me having a bad day and something going wrong and me tossing the screwdriver across the room or something and other and her reporting back to daddy. It's just too much.
I
Too
think
much could have
I,
happened.
I think I think the generation thing is a massive thing because I see it in my schools, not just with my special needs kids. I see it with a lot of kids. The communication
yeah,
terrible, and the way they talk to each other, and the way they talk and the way they, well, yeah, the way they don't talk. And I know some of my autistic kids. They're in their own world and they don't socialise. They don't know. They don't want to, or they don't know how to. Most times it's just because they don't want to. And I think where we're maybe forcing some of these young people to do it, it's having a negative effect. But I think the ones that need help are the ones, but it's mainstream kids as well, the ones without needs. The communication, and it's just because everything is on these, and it's just everything's text talk, and our nephew send me stuff, and I'm like, what is he going on about? I don't know what you're trying to say, But that's just a generation thing, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
found that the autistic community appreciate the more direct
Yeah,
approach.
and technical stuff. Some of the kids in my schools I've been know more than I do, and
They appreciate the more direct.
absolutely
Talk
phenomenal.
direct to me. Don't over jargon it. Just say what you got to say, and
Black
then
and
you're
white.
done.
It's always
Yeah,
black and white.
yeah, it is. I found most of mine that would come into the shop that were on the spectrum or so to be the easiest to deal with because it is what it is
yeah.
to them. There
It's
is
X or
no
Y. I'll
ground.
have X. Okay, there you go. Yeah, no fluff.
Yeah.
Right, guys, we're going to have to finish the show there. Just really, any final thoughts from Will and Ian before we go? Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I just think keep it real. Just talk to people and try your best. I know anxiety gets in the way sometimes, but just I think it's very important that we do face-to-face communication because it's a dying trade. Going to be like everything, like you say, is on phones and things like that now. So
Yeah,
yeah, just keep it real.
Keep it
absolutely.
real. There we go.
That's
I
the
think that's a
best
good one.
advice.
There we go. Anything else you'd like to add on, Ian?
Honesty is the best policy, and like John says, under promise, over deliver, and just be honest. If you make a mistake, say you've made a mistake.
Own it.
Yeah. And
Own it, exactly, own it. And if you have to pay for it, you have to pay for it. But
Yeah.
we all make enough money elsewhere that we can cover it anyway.
Keep it
Hopefully.
transparent.
yeah, hopefully.
Unless it's a damn iMac.
Yeah, that'll be a different cost. Anything you would like to add, Jen, before we call
Keep
it
it
night?
transparent. Keep communication lines open. Respond to your emails, your calls, Facebook messages, everything. Even if the answer is no, we don't sell that, or no, we don't offer that service, at least you've responded and you've communicated.
Right, there we go. Right, let's finish it there then, guys. So thank you everyone for watching tonight. So we will be back. We will be back on Thursday at 8 o'clock. Again, I'm waiting for a confirmation for a vendor, so can't exactly say what it is at the moment. But we will have MSI on in a few weeks' time. So MSI has been reaching out to us, wanting to work with Tech for Tech's community and Tech for Techs. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes to plan. Then they'll be more involved. They're actually coming to TechMax as well. So obviously, MSI do quite a few things, from obviously your motherboards, pre-built systems, and gaming stuff, and so forth. So they've got quite a lot of different variety with MSI, so hopefully we'll be able to get them quite involved, which is pretty good. We do have a few others lined up, but again, no 100% confirmations yet. So again, as we were saying with communication, some vendors are a little bit slow getting back to us. So we give them a deadline, and it's usually 3 or 4 days after the deadline when they get back to us, and it's like a bit too late now. But yeah, so. But again, thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Richard, Carl, William, and whoever else was in there, Peter, and quite a few other people that have been watching tonight. So thanks for watching. Especially thank you to Ian and Will. Again, thank you guys for joining us. And everyone, we will be next week. And if you are interested in TechMax, not long to go now. It's just over, what are we looking at? About 5 weeks away now to TechMax. So if you haven't got tickets,
Give me
you
a
want
ring.
tickets, make sure you book them. I'll put the here we go, the QR code at the bottom of the screen, just where Ian is, basically. If you scan that code or go to tftmax.com, yeah, that's the one. If you go there, then you'll be able to obviously book tickets. They're just £1. They are running out pretty quick, especially with all the vendors we're announcing. We will be adding more information about the talks and stuff, what will be going off. We do have, if anyone knows, Philip Morgan coming. He used to run the network group, is now involved with PAX 8. He will be actually one of the keynote speakers at the event. He's basically a big entrepreneur, is probably the best way of putting it. So he's going to be there. We've got a few talks as well lined up. Cormac's going to be doing a good, I forget the name of it now, TikTok Tech Talk or something or other, but it's going to be a really interactive talk We've got Battle of the Distributors, which we did last year. We're doing it again this year, so we've got multiple different distributors together,
James Dean's
which is
gonna
pretty
be
good.
giving a talk
So,
as well.
and we've got a few others as well. So James Dean, and that's not the James Dean what you're probably thinking about, but there is a guy called James Dean coming, and he's from CUDA, and they deal a lot with the esport leagues and stuff like that. So ESL and so on. But anyway, we'll leave it there. So again, thank you everyone for watching, and before you go, do me a favour and just watch this.